Every company says it is performance-driven. Almost none of them know what that actually means. And that gap between what organizations claim to value and what they actually measure is costing them more than they realize. Not just in revenue, not just in turnover, in the human beings who show up every single day, give everything they have, and quietly fall apart in the process. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Most companies that call themselves performance-driven are not actually measuring performance. They are measuring output. They are measuring activity. They are measuring the appearance of productivity, the long hours, the full calendar, the rapid response times, the willingness to sacrifice everything outside of work for the sake of the company's numbers. And they have confused that sacrifice with commitment. They have confused exhaustion with dedication. They have confused a person running on empty with a person running at full capacity. Those are not the same thing. And the fact that so many organizations cannot tell the difference is the single biggest performance problem they have. In Project U, we talk about the concept of whole health, the understanding that a human being is not a machine with interchangeable parts, but an integrated system where the physical, mental, and emotional dimensions are inseparable. What happens in the body affects the mind. What happens in the mind affects the body. What happens in the emotional life of a person affects both. You cannot compartmentalize a human being and expect peak performance from the compartment you have decided to value while neglecting everything else. It does not work that way. Biology does not negotiate with organizational charts. When a company creates a culture of chronic pressure, where the expectation is constant availability, where rest is seen as weakness, where the person who works the longest hours is celebrated regardless of what those hours actually produce, it is not building a high-performance culture. It is building a high-cortisol culture. And cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, is one of the most destructive forces a human brain can be exposed to over extended periods. It impairs memory consolidation, it degrades decision-making, it suppresses the immune system, it accelerates cellular aging, and it progressively dismantles the very cognitive functions that make a person valuable in a knowledge-based economy. Creativity, strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, and the capacity for nuanced judgment. The irony is devastating. The pressure that companies apply in the name of performance is systematically destroying the biological foundations of performance itself. In Think Yourself Thin, we explore how the body responds to perceived threat, and how that response, when sustained, creates a chemical environment that is fundamentally incompatible with growth. The brain, in a chronic stress state, is not a brain that innovates. It is a brain that survives. It narrows its focus to the immediate and the urgent. It loses access to the broader, more expansive thinking that produces breakthrough ideas, that sees around corners, that builds the kind of strategy that creates lasting competitive advantage. You are not getting the best of your people when they are under that kind of pressure. You are getting a diminished version of them and paying full price for it. The leaders who understand this are the ones building something different. They are not soft. They are not lowering the standard. They are raising it because they understand that genuine high performance requires a human being who is physically energized, mentally clear, and emotionally regulated. They understand that recovery is not the opposite of performance. It is the prerequisite for it. They build cultures where people are expected to protect their sleep, to move their bodies, to eat in ways that sustain their energy, to have lives outside of work that replenish rather than deplete them. And the output of those cultures, the quality of the decisions, the depth of the creativity, the resilience under genuine pressure, is categorically superior to the output of cultures built on fear and exhaustion. This is not a wellness initiative. This is a performance strategy. And the companies that figure this out first will have an advantage that cannot be replicated by technology, by capital, or by any competitive tactic available to their rivals. Because the advantage is human. And humans, when they are whole, when they are healthy, when they are operating from a place of genuine energy and clarity, rather than survival and depletion, humans are extraordinary. The problem with performance-driven companies is not that they care too much about performance. It is that they have misunderstood what performance actually is. Performance is not the number of hours someone sits at a desk. It is the quality of what they produce in the hours they are there. It is the decision made with clarity rather than panic. The conversation held with presence rather than distraction. The idea that emerges from a mind that has been given space to think rather than a mind that has been ground down to its last reserves. Real performance is sustainable. Real performance compounds. Real performance is built on people who are well, not people who are merely willing to suffer. The companies that will lead the next decade are not the ones with the most aggressive targets. They are the ones with the most intelligent understanding of what it actually takes to achieve them. That conversation starts here. This is Michael Abdallah.